Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is July the 29th, and I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into the meditation. Expectations. As we realize our need to be forgiven, we tend to be more forgiving. Basic text, page 39. Our behavior toward other people in our life is a mirror of our behavior toward ourselves. When we demand perfection of ourselves, we come to demand it from others around us too. As we strive to repair and heal our lives in recovery, we may also expect others to work just as hard and to recover at the same pace as we do. And just as we are often unforgiving of our own mistakes, we may shut out friends and family members when they don't meet our expectations. Working the steps helps us understand our own limitations and our humanity. We come to see our failures as human mistakes. We realize that we will never be perfect, that we will at times disappoint ourselves and others. We hope for forgiveness. As we learn to gently accept ourselves, we can start to view ourselves with the same accepting and tolerant heart. These people, too, are only human, trying to do their best and sometimes falling short. Just for today, I will treat others with the tolerance and forgiveness I seek for myself. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. A moment of silence now. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, good morning, everyone. What a privilege and an honor to be alive. Just to be alive is in and of itself a beautiful thing, but to be alive and in my right mind and having recovery in my life and having you people in my life, having my family in my life, having sustenance and covering and not wanting for anything, not wealthy, but not poor, not overly joyous, but definitely not miserable. You know, I feel really blessed today. I wanted to talk about this meditation in a very sober sense. I want to talk about it from the most realistic point of view that I can share. Every day I wake up, not by my own initiative. I mean, I do wake up without an alarm and I wake up pretty early, but I'm saying that at some point after resting, whether it be an hour or 2 or 3 hours, or much like last night, not at all. I wake up and my body systems start to function on a different level than they were when they were resting. And there's nothing that I have to say about that. That happens for me day after day after day after day. So far, miraculously, day after day after day. And then I start to look at my phone and I see texts coming in, and lo and behold, there's people out there that I know that are thinking about me early in the morning. And for whatever reason, a miracle as well, they've awakened to a new day just as I did. Just being human, being alive, there are some rights and some responsibilities that come with that honor of being alive. And one of them, one of the rights and responsibilities is to love others. You know, there's I want to say like a proverb that talks about treating people the way you want to be treated. And we say it around here in recovery, giving back freely what was given to us. And there's that law of reciprocity, right? And to reciprocate is what that word comes from, reciprocity. So to reciprocate means that I give back. You give something and then I give back. Or maybe I receive from this hand, but I give away on the other hand. There's this give and take. That's what the law of reciprocity is about, reciprocating, right? And so I want to say the very fact that we have expectations on other people is very indicative that we have expectations of ourselves. That is why I can say that this just for today in a meditation, even though it's talking about we need forgiveness and being forgiving, it is in its most simplest state about the law of reciprocity, being able to give and take, right? And so you can't avoid it. It's not, it's like the law of gravity. It cannot be avoided. You can try not to give back, but ultimately you will give back. You may not give back to the extent or with what you were given, but at some point in time, you're going to be demanded, in a sense, to do something, to give something. And you'll do it so quite naturally that you won't think twice about it. And you have just poured back into the universe the love that was poured up to you. That's how I see it. And so this ideal of me being in a position where I need forgiveness, you know, it's not a given. It's not to be taken for granted. But when I'm going through the course of my day, because I have breath in my body, I am not thinking that I am going to fail anyone, right? I'm thinking I'm going to give my best go at the day, and others will do the same, right? But there are times when I miss it, I miss the mark. And I become acutely aware of how I have fallen short, how my character defect has acted out. I become acutely aware of it. And there's nothing more when I am aware of my error that resides in me more than the desire to know and be sure that I have not hurt another human being. And if I have, in my 10th step, I can seek them out to make an amends. It comes quite naturally for me. I don't even think about it. Here's what I don't think about, which is always possible. I don't think about people not forgiving me. The thought never crosses my mind that the person would say, to heck with you. I don't want anything to do with you, over some simple misspoken word, some minute disregard that was non-intentional. The thought never crosses my mind that this person will hold a grudge against me for the rest of my life. You know why? Because I don't operate like that. I personally do not operate like that. I have a very large, forgiving heart. I personally don't operate like that. So I don't think that people will hate me or not forgive me or even dislike me, right? I have operated in this law of reciprocity for so long that it is almost as common to me or natural to me as breathing air. And so I have to remember that if I think like that, it's quite possible other people think like that. And is it wrong thinking? Not necessarily so, but it is assuming something. It is expecting that people are going to be forgiving because I'm forgiving, right? But in reality, all I need to remember is that just as much as I don't even think about it, I assume that I will be forgiven, other people probably think the same thing. And there you have the problem. Everyone is expecting everyone to get over, right? To let it go, to sweep it under the rug, act like it never happened. Everyone is naturally thinking, or I should say unintentionally thinking, that they will be forgiven. But a lot of times, people, that is not how it works. That is not how it works. This reading today is teaching us to be tolerant of others and to give the forgiveness that we want. It's talking to us about the law of reciprocity. What we want, we should be willing to give. And I hope that's you. I don't have any real deep, profound comments about this because it is a very basic, natural to our instinct as human beings to assume that we will be loved. And love covers a lot of things, it endures a lot of things. And so, because we think like that, we need to make sure that we act like that. Okay? Because we think that we should be forgiven for those genuine mistakes that we make. We need to be ready to forgive people at a drop of a hat. It shouldn't even be a thought. Do I forgive? Forgiving should be a part of your DNA. It should be a part of the fact that you are a human being. It should come naturally to love, to forgive people. It should come naturally. Sometimes, unfortunately, we forgive and we forgive and we forgive and we become doormats. The people are not changing. They're doing the same thing over and over. We see that they're doing it over and over and they're taking advantage of us. That is different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that day-to-day stuff. Those day-to-day encounters, the woman in the grocery store, the recovering addicts at the meetings, the fact that they hugged two people and stopped hugging people because they really didn't want to hug nobody, but you saw it as them not wanting to be bothered with you. But in reality, they wouldn't have hugged the other two people if they could have just gotten away from them fast enough. But you take it personal that they spin around and go the other way when it comes to you. They don't want to hug you, right? We need to take our feelings off our sleeves. We need to take our feelings off our sleeves and stop being so easily offended. You know, I have had, this is my going on my third day of very little rest. But my energy and my mind, right, are still feeling the spirit of gratitude and gratefulness. So I just love ICU. I have a brother-in-law that is in ICU. I got the call around 6:30 that my sister needed some support, and that's where I've been. I still had my work clothes on. I came right into work today. I didn't even go home. I knew I had some things hanging in my office that I could change into. And just grab some coffee and I'm here to do the things that I would normally do because God gave me the grace to be there to support my sister and her husband. And it was a beautiful experience. It was a scary experience. There were moments we thought that we might lose him. And he's not out of the woods yet, but he's doing a lot better this morning. And I'm telling you that when you are in the will of God on your life, when you are doing God's will for your life, God will give you the grace to carry it out. This is 11 step talk. Okay. Some of you, I sense, on a different note, but seriously, when I said this is the 11th step, talk about being able to know God's will and carry it out, having that grace to do it. Some of you are amazed at what seems to be profound in my explanation or the working of the steps into our readings. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. However, most of what I'm able to share today came through fire, trial and error, right? Humility, and then being able to make sense out of nonsense as a direct result of having a sponsor, having a relationship with God, and having the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, the how of the program. And it can be yours. You too can start to operate in maturity and grace. However, it's going to require some work. I want for you to start thinking about taking your life to the next level. And remember, I was talking the other day about levels seemingly going up, but the level I'm talking about is a deeper level. It goes down. This is a deep level of humility, acknowledging who you are as you are, and being able to accept your assets and your liabilities, and being able to own up to your junk from the past and start living a life that is a sacrifice to that self-centeredness. You are no longer pursuing self-centeredness. You are pursuing God-centeredness, and that requires a sacrifice. And I want you to think about doing your step work with a sponsor. I want you to think about doing service work and possibly sponsoring other people. I want you to think about doing service work in your community, volunteering to make the world a better place. These are things that make life beautiful to me, and it makes life worth living. I have finally found out how to stop obsessing about myself. And it is by giving love to others and filling, Filling, filling my day with different forms of love and service to different people based on what the need is. Listen, I have enjoyed talking to you. I am going to be talking to you tomorrow, and I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day.